Hi guys, welcome to my channel. This is just a short announcement video to let you know about some of the new events which will be happening on my channel in August, and ones that I really hope that you all can join me on. So the first one is called the Katalyst film event, and the first session will be tomorrow on Tuesday, the 4th of August. And I just wanted to let you know a little bit more about the Katalyst for any of you who haven't seen anything about this idea. And the Katalyst, I actually launched the Katalyst last year in 2019, and it happened on location in London. The idea behind it is combining films with discussions and sometimes meditations, where we discuss a particular topic for each event, such as unity consciousness or life after death. And the idea behind it is to combine science with spirituality and look at some of the data behind both of these fields. Because one thing I've noticed is that a lot of the times people think that something isn't scientifically proven and it doesn't exist, when in fact there is a lot of science behind it, but for one reason or another it doesn't really reach us, either through schools or through government, through the media. It doesn't seem to reach us. And so the idea behind the Katalyst is for us to really hunt down for this information for ourselves, and therefore bring on, what happens is we bring on a bunch of panels, a bunch of professionals from both the scientific and the spiritual fields, where they combine their ideas together, and all the scientific data, all the data behind those two aspects are combined together to look at the correlations that exist between them, and therefore to help us in our knowledge of our own reality. So the Katalyst idea for tomorrow, the event will be focusing on unity and global consciousness. It's a very big topic, which so many people are now starting to learn more about, because of course we're starting to realize how much we're actually all interconnected with one another, how our consciousness doesn't just exist within the brain and inside of the brain, but exists way outside of that. And we're going to have an amazing panel of guests. One of them is Roger Nelson, who is the director and the founder of the Global Consciousness Project. And the Global Consciousness Project has been going on for over 20 years, and it's testing whether or not we have the ability to affect the consciousness, the reality, through our thoughts, through our co-creative power. And the results from this experiment are just incredible, and it's not something that a lot of people actually know about. So one of the reasons why I really wanted to bring on Roger Nelson for this specific topic is to really allow for him to tell us more about this project that has been going on for such a long time, and which is really pioneering in this field of global consciousness, and showing us how we are all interconnected with one another. And this is scientific data. It's not spiritual mumbo jumbo. It's actual scientific facts that have tested many hundreds of different global events that have happened, mass events that have happened around the globe over the last 20 years or so. And they actually show how, when people who are focused on the same thing around the same time, this actually has an effect on our consciousness, on our physical reality. And this has been cited over and over again. So it's going to be so interesting to hear from Roger Nelson tomorrow. I hope that you guys can learn more about his project, and I've put the link in that below in the description if you want to know more about it. On the panel joining us, we'll also have two Transcendental Meditation sitters, and one of them I actually interviewed. His name is Jeremy Old. He is in one of my previous interviews a few months ago, and he was part of some of the mass meditations in the 80s and 90s, which happened in some of the war zones, which basically brought a group of transcendental meditation sitters to bring peace into those war-torn zones. And every time they did that, it worked. So we're going to have some incredible data again from transcendental meditation, showing how our ability to co-create is very real. So we're going to have that coupled with some of the science behind it. And this is just going to be an absolutely mind-blowing discussion. So I really can't wait to do that. And I haven't seen anything like this before, in terms of combining science and spirituality for this specific topic. So the information we're going to get is going to be really, really incredible. And it's not only going to help us in terms of knowing what we can do in order to help heal the earth and bring about more peace in the earth, but also what we can do in terms of our own lives to bring about more peace through our own thoughts, through our own focus and intentions, and how we can best use them. So that's going to be really, really incredible, and I hope you guys can join me. Part of the first part of the event, I'm going to live stream on YouTube. However, the second part of the event, where all the films are going to be screened, it will be done through Zoom, because some of the films are not actually released yet. So therefore, I'm not able to live stream that. But I really hope that you guys can join me on the Zoom meeting from the start, because you'll be able to ask questions and you'll be able to participate in the whole event. So again, if you want to join us for tomorrow, click on the link below, which will take you to the page where you can sign up for the event. And also 50% of all purchases go towards the foundations supported by the guest panel on the event. So you'll also be contributing to something which is a lot more than this event. Yeah, we'll also be there's a second part to the event, which is basically the film screenings, and the short films will be by a range of international, really, really talented filmmakers whose films are also related to the idea of global consciousness and unity consciousness and how we are all interconnected. So that's going to be really, really fascinating, and the films themselves are really incredible. So again, I hope that you guys can actually stay on for the second part to see the films being screened. The second announcement that I wanted to make is for another event that I'm going to be doing on the channel on YouTube, and that's going to be a review of films that are supposed to be fiction but are actually non-fiction. So what that means is we're basically going to be looking at things like The Matrix, Lucy, Interstellar, films like that, and the ideas behind them and how they actually come from reality and from the way reality actually works. So joining me on this panel is going to be one of my previous guests, Andrew Weston. He is a unified ascensions master healer. So he has been able to ascend his consciousness to a level where he can travel in the past and in the future, and his knowledge on everything to do with our reality and the way that it works is just absolutely mind-blowing. For any of you who haven't seen my interview with him called The Matrix Simulation of Reality, please do check it out. It's really, really fascinating interview, and it's one of those that you have to watch a few times to really get the information, but it's really incredible in terms of the amount of knowledge that he actually provides on how everything works in this reality. Yeah, so we'll be doing this every month, and the next one, so the first one will be on the 18th of August. That will be in about 2 or 3 weeks time. So I hope that you guys can join me. Make sure that you watch The Matrix if you haven't already seen it. This will be our first film for that day, and then the following month it will be September, and we'll announce which film we'll be looking at on the first event. But it'll be really, really cool. You guys can prepare questions if you have any, and yeah, we'll be basically dissecting some of these films and looking at how they are actually based on reality and not just sci-fi. Okay, so I hope you guys can join me. Click on the links below to check out the event, Katalyst, and also I'll be making more announcements to come with the film review event that we'll be doing on my channel. Okay, thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you soon. Bye.
I think it's very important for us to realize that we are connected with each other.
How would you like to live in a world where there was no war, there was no conflict, or didn't have to live in a world where you didn't have to work your entire life simply to survive? Reality is, we created the world that we see today. Humanity created it. It wasn't some, all right, welcome to the planet, this is how it is. And
We're interconnected at some level that's well below consciousness. even if we're aware that we might be interconnected, we don't have any way of seeing it or feeling it directly.
Maharishi predicted that if we can get 1% of a population to meditate, it'll start to transform society. And you do feel invincible when you're meditating.
That there might be such a thing as a global consciousness, and we might be able to detect it doesn't exist confined to a space. It lives everywhere, all the time.
The super radiance effects comes from when there's a group of them meditating together. When they do that, they have an impact on the rest of society around them.
Well, Katalyst has done some wonderful rehabilitation work in Colombia. He rehabilitates street children.
Y fue descubrir cómo la espiritualidad era imprescindible en todos los programas de rehabilitación.